Right, this is it then. This is going to be the final part of Evolutionists Say the Darndest Things. This is the part where we're going to be getting into having a laugh at evolutionists, what evolutionists say online when you get into debates with them. Some of the ridiculous things that they say and how ill-informed they are. So I can just give you a few examples of that because I've got quite a lot of examples here, but I'll go through it quite quickly. Right, this is me here saying to them that evolution means that you adapt to your environment to become a better survivor, because they were talking about, I asked them for best example that they have that one species can give birth to a new species, and they gave me the example of a liger. And I said, okay, so but evolution means to adapt to your environment to become a better survivor. And then I said, a liger is not fitter for its environment, it is genetically recessive, so therefore it couldn't possibly be an example of evolution. Right. So this guy, I'll just give you a quick rundown on this guy. By the way, I've cancelled out everybody's names. Any name that I've left is my own name, and I've tried to help retain people's dignity. It's not because I'm worried, I'm trying to back out of a debate with them or anything. I've had countless debates with them that have went on for days on end, and that I've totally bored some of my followers to tears, so probably with it, but it's not something that bothers me, and I'll talk about what I want to talk about on my Twitter, and etc, etc. So anyway, they've came in, and a lot of them are quite aggressive with their viewpoint. I think that you can have a debate without being aggressive with your viewpoint. Seems to really gets their back up if someone states that they don't believe in evolution, or they've got facts to refute it. It really kind of gets their backs up. As I say, I've had debates with them, and it's 4, 5, 6, 7, countless numbers of people end up coming in. If you defeat one of them, then the next one will come in, and he'll take his couple of shots, and it goes on like that, and it goes on like that. So see this that I've covered up here? This is all just other people's Twitter names, and even although these people's accounts are public, and my account is public, I feel like I could print their names if I wanted to, but I'm kind of supporting creationist. My mum and my father, as well as my own moral beliefs, tell me that I should at least try and retain some dignity. I don't go in with an aggressive viewpoint on these people, and I'm going to try and help them to retain some of their dignity by hiding their names. It's all just names under here. I haven't hidden my own name. I'm quite happy for my own name to be up there. But so anyway, this guy here, I particularly don't like this guy. He actually has changed his picture. Before, when I had this debate with him, he was pretending he was a parody account of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. So it seems like after his debate with me, he's no longer pretending that he's Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Right. So anyway, I like some of them. I really don't like this guy. He has got a very aggressive viewpoint, and I'm about to show you it makes absolutely no sense, his viewpoint. And there's other guys that come in. Some of them I feel sorry for them. Some of them have respect for them, and I like them, but I don't agree with their viewpoint, and I don't believe in the theory of evolution, and I think I've got plenty of evidence to suggest that it didn't happen. So let's carry on. So that's me saying evolution means to adapt to your environment to become a better survivor, after they said that a liger was an observed example of a new species. And I said a liger is not fitter for its environment, it is genetically recessive. So at this point he says to me, it doesn't need to be fitter for its environment. So there he's getting the absolute fundamental basics of the evolution theory wrong there. He made a nice wee meme. He made a nice wee graphic to try and put me down, and I'll go through that step by step and show you what he said. So this is him saying that I claimed evolution means you're fitter for your environment, which is true. And he says the truth is that evolution is a change in inheritable traits for better or worse. He said that I claimed that Neanderthals were humans. I've got a specific set of slides coming up that's on that, so I'll go through that in a wee bit. I claimed that chimps are only similar to us, they're just a similar animal. It doesn't particularly mean that chimps gave a form of chimp gave birth to humans and humans carried on from there. I just said that they are similar animals, that's all. And he said no, we've got a shared ancestor through shared chromosomes. Then he says that I claimed that whale ancestors never lived on land, and he says the truth is that fossil evidence shows a gradual change from mammal to marine mammal. And I claimed that animals can only produce their own species, and he said that the truth is ligers are neither lions or tiger, yet they can be produced. Right, so evolution means you're fitter for your environment. That's just basic evolution, and he's saying that's not true. He's saying the truth is evolution is a change in inheritable traits for better or worse. Well, let me just explain to you why that's so wrong, because if an animal was to change for the worse, it wouldn't be able to survive and it would be wiped out. It would either not be able to reproduce, or it would be killed by predators, and the entire species wouldn't be able to survive and continue surviving. So you can't have an animal changing for the worse because it wouldn't survive. So he obviously hasn't been able to grasp that. Let me just take you to the evolution means you're fitter for your environment. Right. Darwinism is a theory of biological evolution developed by Charles Darwin and others, stating that all species of organisms arise and develop through the natural selection of small inherited variation that increases an individual's ability to compete, survive and reproduce. Right? Okay, an adaptation. What is an adaptation? In biology, an adaptation, also called an adaptive trait, is a trait with a current functional role in the life history of an organism that is maintained and evolved by means of natural selection. Adaptations enhance the fitness and survival of individuals. Adaptation is the evolutionary process whereby an organism becomes better able to live in its habitat or habitats. Adaptedness is the state of being adapted, the degree to which an organism is able to live and reproduce in a given set of habitats. So we're seeing there that evolution, the theory of evolution, is how animals survive in their environment, how they're directly influenced by their environments, and the survival of the species is dependent on how well the animal adapts to the environment. Okay, I'll take you in natural selection because that happens through natural selection. Natural selection is the gradual process by which heritable biological traits become either more or less common in a population as a function of the effect of inherited traits on the differential reproductive success of organisms interacting with their environment. Throughout the individual's lives, their genomes interact with their environments to cause variations in traits. Natural selection remains the primary explanation for adaptive evolution. So as we've seen, adaptation is how an animal specifically adapts to its environment, and that's a cornerstone of natural selection. And let me take you to the actual book that Darwin wrote, The Origin of Species, and it's called On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. And as I've just seen there, natural selection means it's a primary explanation for adaptive evolution, how you adapt to your environment. That's what natural selection is. I'll show you evolution. Thus, in successive generations, members of a population are replaced by progeny of parents better adapted to survive and reproduce in the biophysical environment. So every single example that I've showed you of the basic fundamentals of what evolution is telling you that it's about adapting to survive and reproduce in the biophysical environment. And this guy here is saying that evolution is a change in inheritable traits for better or worse, and he's saying that I'm wrong to say that evolution means that you must be fitter for your environment. If evolution is true, you must be fitter for your environment. And he's saying, oh no, you don't have to be fitter for your environment. You can actually be worse for your environment in evolution. But unfortunately for him, he's completely wrong, and he doesn't realise that if you were worse for your environment, that the species would die out, and that is the absolute fundamental, basic cornerstone of evolution. And he's got that wrong there. And he was a parody account of Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang. He thought he was like ultimate science guy there. So I'll take and show you Neanderthals were humans next. Anyway, I said that chimps are only similar to us, and he's saying that we share an ancestor proven through shared chromosomes. But if you believe in evolution, right, you believe in a common ancestor. So why, I don't see why evolutionists are so obsessed with having so-called shared chromosomes with chimps, because we're supposed to be from a common ancestor. So shouldn't we have shared chromosomes with every single thing that is in existence, every single living thing that is in existence? And shouldn't we be trying to prove that we have shared chromosomes with bananas or grass or trees or fish or single-celled organisms? Shouldn't we be trying to prove that we have shared chromosomes with them, because that would be much more impressive to show that? But I don't see why that's in any way impressive, because he believes in a common ancestor, so that's not particularly impressive that we have so-called shared chromosomes with chimps. He says that whale ancestors, I said that whale ancestors never lived on land, and he says that fossil evidence shows a gradual change from mammal to marine mammal, and I'll take you and show you some of that. I would also kind of like to explode this myth that, animals are these caring beings that when things are born, they look after them, and evolution is a bit of a paradox in many ways. They are saying, how difficult it is to survive and you have to compete to survive, but we actually see a lot of instances in nature of very, very decadent behaviour in animals. For example, many animals eat their young. That's infanticide in zoology we're looking at here. So it says infanticide by animals has been observed in many species throughout the animal kingdom. It includes microscopic rotifers, insects, fish, amphibians, birds and mammals, and it can be practiced by both males and females. I'll take you to resource competitions. So black-tailed prairie dogs are colonially living harem polygynous squirrels found mainly in the United States. They only have one litter per year and are in estrus for only a single day around the beginning of spring, so they're only fertile for one day a year. A guy, John Hoogland, observed them, and he found that infanticide is widespread in this species, including infanticide from invading males and immigrant females. So both the males and the females are eating their young, cannibalising their young. Evolutionists want you to think that if something is born different to something else, they're saying part of their whole entire process is that if something is born different to something else, then that's an advantage. But the actual real behaviour that we see in the animal kingdom is that when things are born different, they're actually rejected, they're often eaten. I'll take you to runts. Okay, so in groups of animals, a runt is a member which is smaller or weaker than the others due to its small size. A runt in a litter faces obvious disadvantage, including difficulties with competing with its siblings for survival and possible rejection from its mother. So we often see in the animal kingdom things that are born slightly different, they're rejected, they're eaten. Even domesticated animals, runts will face rejection. They've done studies on chimps, and they found that chimps go around actually waging war on other groups and taking their territory. That's a picture of a young chimp that's killed another chimp and is dancing on his body. The animal kingdom is very wild, very unforgiving, so if something was born different, it would probably be rejected by its siblings and its mother, and it would then be running around on its own, and at that point other groups would probably come in and kill it. That's the bare facts of it. I would just like to explode this myth that the idea that evolution, something could be born different to its siblings and it would be able to survive. It wouldn't. It would be completely rejected. Is probably more closer to the truth. And I'll show you this. You can come and look at this yourself. But the 9 worst moms in the animal kingdom. Harp seals, I'll just give you some of the examples. Mothers of these precious little ones are highly dedicated for the first 12 days. In fact, they do not eat at all during that period. Unfortunately, once the feeding is over, that's it for the mother-child bonding. She's out of there, ready to mate again. Unlike many other species with such abrupt weaning periods, the harp seal pup can't go on to survive on its own yet. Instead, it is left stranded on the ice for the next month and a half, leaving it incredibly vulnerable to predators. The babies will lose half of their body weight during this lengthy fasting period. Finally, when they're about 8 weeks old, they are ready to swim and are able to start hunting for their own food. So what we actually see in the animal kingdom is often things rejecting their young, etc. Cuckoos, perhaps the most famous bad mother on this list. The cuckoo tricks other birds into raising her own youngster, freeing her up to enjoy life as a single bird. She does this by laying her eggs in the nest of another bird. Unfortunately for her victims, the cuckoo chick is hardly a grateful adoptee. Instead, the chick hatches earlier and grows faster than the other bird's real brood, forcing the smaller chicks out of the nest to die. So this one bird has destroyed this bird's whole family, isn't raising its own young. Very, very wild, very, very cruel in the animal kingdom. The idea that an animal could be born different to the others and it would be accepted and looked after is a complete fallacy. Right. House sparrows. While most women would be furious if their husband cheated on them, few would choose to take it out on any offspring that resulted from the infidelity, but that's just what happened. When a house sparrow does, she seeks out nests of other females that mated with her partner and kills its chicks. Pandas. I know it's hard to think anything negative about these adorable cuddly critters, but the reality is that they're pretty negligent parents. In fact, despite the fact that pandas often have twins, they almost never care for more than one cub. The mum will choose the weaker of the two babies and start ignoring him or her in favour of the stronger sibling. Right, you can go on and read more about that if you want. The abject cruelness that is evidence we have great evidence of in the animal kingdom. We don't have the idea that something different could be born and then other animals would start caring for it. Is just a complete fallacy, I'm afraid, and the animal kingdom is extremely, extremely cruel, and we don't have any evidence that something could be born different and it would probably be eaten or rejected. The truth is, and it wouldn't be able to go on and create a successful species from there. Well, I've just realised that I said at the start of this video that this was going to be the last one, but when I'm talking about it, I'm getting deeper and deeper into it, and I'm quite enjoying making the films anyway, so I'm going to keep on making them. I'll show you roughly what's coming up. My next video is going to be the debunk of this whale ancestors never lived on land, and him saying that they've got the proof of the gradual change. So that's what I'll be showing you next, but I'm going to be carrying on laughing at evolutionists. I've got about 4 kind of main slides just to give you a rough idea about what's coming up in general. Darndest's slides here. This next slide is going to be Neanderthals were human, how evolutionists responded when I said that. This is just a random kind of mix I could probably go through quite quickly about what evolutionists said in online arguments, various just kind of miscellaneous points, and then I'm going to end up on some of the better ones that I said, and that's what's coming up. Okay, so join me in the next one, because I'm enjoying making these and putting the information out there. So thanks very much. See you. Bye.